Hey, I'm Doug. Welcome to Backcountry Pilgrim, a channel all about hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. Today I want to talk to you about choosing a backpack and some of the factors that should go into backpack choice that aren't always talked about that much, but can be very important. I love to research gear. I am a gear geek. I love making spreadsheets and comparisons and really trying to think through everything. For me, it's like half the fun of backpacking is just picking out the perfect piece of gear. Recently, I have been going through a gear purge, and one of the things that I have gotten rid of are my backpacks. I'm getting down to either the one backpack or the one style that I'm going to keep for a certain purpose, or deciding to buy something new. Now, having been a backpacker and hiker for a good part of my life, I know that there are some factors that go into backpack choice that are not always that easy to research ahead of time. When you look at your typical pack review, pack description, you're going to hear about the price, you're going to hear about the volume, you're going to hear about the weight. Now, those are pretty objective factors. They're pretty easy to report because it's just public information. It's out there, and it doesn't really matter what you think about it. They are what they are. However, along with those objective factors are some kind of sub-factors that I think can be every bit as important, but they're a lot harder to know ahead of time until you actually have your hands on the pack. And of course, with so many of these excellent cottage industry manufacturers out there, that's not always easy because you can't just go down to your local outfitter and try them on. Then the price really doesn't become that much of a factor. You're just going to have to decide how much you're willing to spend yourself. Most of them come in right around the same price for the same kind of product. And so if you decide you know what you want, you're probably going to be fairly stuck into a certain price category. The only factor will be whether or not you can get to that price point personally. The next factor that we can see ahead of time is the weight. The weight of the pack obviously is very important. The older I get, the more I realize how important it is to try to keep as much weight off of your back and your knees and your feet as possible. However, it is definitely not the only factor, and it's not even the only factor when it comes to pack comfort. The weight factor becomes huge when the carry factor changes. So for example, I might have a 50-pound kid that I can carry pretty comfortably as long as they're close to the pack. However, if I have a 40-pound kid who's leaning back, he actually feels heavier than the 50-pound kid. The problem, of course, is that you're not really going to know how a pack carries until it is on. So that is one reason why it's so important to actually be able to try on a pack if you can, because the weight factor of the pack can be massively changed by the weight distribution of your loadout. A 4-pound pack is going to be worse for your body than a 2-pound pack. If it is not carrying the weight very well, it can end up hurting you even worse. And that is where the third major factor comes in, a pack's volume. It's very easy to say, oh, this is a 70-liter pack, this is a 50-liter pack, this is a 40-liter pack. However, where those liters are on the pack has a big difference as to how much you can actually carry and how comfortably you can carry it. For example, one of the packs I'm looking at right now claims to have a 70-liter capacity, but the actual main body is just a tad under 40 liters. So nearly half of the pack's carrying capacity is in exterior pockets. So if I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to have a lot of gear stored on the outside of my pack, I don't want to think of this as a 70-liter pack that I might pick up at REI, which is typically going to be rated based on the main body. I need to think of this as a 40-liter backpack with a bunch of pockets. So make sure that you know how exactly that pack's volume is being calculated. And the other important thing here when considering a pack's volume is where the gear is going to go. Is it where you're going to want it as far as access and carryability? Now, while you can go into an outfitter's and maybe throw some sandbags in a pack to see how it feels with weight on it, if that weight isn't where you're going to put it, you're not really getting a very good idea of how the pack is going to carry on you. So the best practice, if you can, would be to go into an outfitter with the gear you're actually going to be packing. Pack the backpack the way you want it packed, putting the gear where you want it as far as access goes, and then putting on the pack and seeing how it rides. So for example, this is my Waymark Mile, probably the coolest backpack to come out in 2021. And one of the things that I like about this is that I can get a whole bunch of stuff on my shoulder straps. I like having my water right up here where I can get it fast. Don't have to chicken wing myself and dislocate my shoulder getting my bottles out. I like to have my Zoleo GPS device right here where I can get it in case I fall down and injure myself. I don't want to be reaching around trying to find this. I've got my knife right here in case I need to draw it quickly. And in order for me to do that, I have to have daisy chain webbing on my shoulder straps. Some packs don't come with that. So for example, my Osprey Talon, which is a really nice pack for a lot of reasons, doesn't come with basically any way to attach storage to the front of these straps. You have these little rubbery hose leads for the straps, but there isn't anything to attach a carabiner to. Now they do give you this one little tiny stuff pouch, which I don't think I've ever used this for anything. So regardless of what other cool features this pack has, if I want to carry my gear the way I want to carry it, it is not going to be optional for me. And that's not just about convenience. When I have the Mile on, a significant amount of the pack weight shifts to the front and shifts to my chest, coming off of my back. If I throw all this stuff in the Talon, it might weigh about the same, but it's going to ride very differently. Another thing I like about the Mile pack is that this Hilltop pack's roll top fanny pack can clip on where the hip belt goes on the Mile pack. This is a pretty good sized fanny pack. I can use it for kind of a ditty bag and just putting things in here like glasses and compasses and things that I don't necessarily need quick access to. Or I can put snacks, batteries, stuff like that in here. And if I want quick access, I can just clip this onto the hip belt clips for the Mile pack. So what that also does is it takes all of the weight of this pack off of my back and moves it to my center of gravity, further lightening my pack. So because the Talon has a sewn-in hip belt with pockets, I don't have anywhere to put that ditty bag. That's going to have to go on my back, and maybe I can move some stuff into these front pockets, but that's going to depend on how big it is. I can't get most of the things that I want in my ditty bag into these little tiny Talon pockets. Or to give another example, this is my Montane Trailblazer, one of the most comfortable day packs I have ever worn. You've got these big, wide paddle shoulder straps. Just feels great when it's on you. But notice again, I don't really have a whole lot of strap storage. I do have these material loops here. I'm not sure how strong these are. I guess I could get something behind the load lifter here. And I've got these tall pockets on the strap that are good for some things, but not others. I definitely am not going to be able to get this load out onto this pack, but it's got gigantic hip belt pockets, so it's possible that I could move everything in my ditty bag to the pockets on here, the pockets on here, and then this would function in much the same way the Mile does, with extremely comfortable straps. But again, the problem is I'm not going to know it until I put my stuff in this pack and put it on. So what does all this mean? Well, when you're going into your backpack research, keep in mind that what you are seeing on a website or hanging on a hook in a store are going to be some objective factors like price, volume, and weight. However, there are additional factors that you are not going to be able to tell unless you can actually get your hands on that backpack, not only put it on with weight to see general comfort, but also load it up the way you would like to have it loaded to make sure it has the features you want so that your gear is not only being carried by the backpack, but it's being carried where you want it and it still is comfortable. And so for that, you're going to want to look at what you can get your hands on in a local retailer and maybe also have a realistic look at the return policies that some online vendor or cottage industry type pack maker has so that you can make a really good decision before you drop whatever money it's going to cost you. All right, I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, would you mind giving it a like and then subscribe to the channel if you're into hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. If you click the bell after you subscribe, YouTube will let you know the next time I put a new video out. Till next time, I'm Doug. Thank you for watching.